and good evening on this very, very special, very short edition of the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Kim McAllister. Got the idea to pop back in at 8 this evening, Pacific time, for a little cocktail, a little drink, a little celebration after the verdict today. And I brought a very special guest. So I would like to welcome John Rothman to the party. Hi.
I am delighted to be with you. There is no place I would rather be tonight than celebrating with you.
So let me first I want to address your bandage, and then let's talk a little bit about what happened today. But I'm sure people are wondering what happened there. It looks like you've got a cell phone case on the side of your head.
Yes, no, it's just a bandage. I had a little cyst wherever it is. There it is.
Mhm.
And I went in and had it removed, and tomorrow the stitches come out, and
Okay.
I'm good as new.
Wonderful. Well, I'm
I
glad
was
everything's
going to make
okay.
I was going to make up a far more dramatic story, but I'm afraid
That's it. That's it. We'll take the truth. Okay, so something else happened. So we earlier today learned that the jury in this civil case found Donald Trump sexually abused E. Jean Carroll and awarded her $5 million. What the jury did not find is that E. Jean Carroll could make a case for rape. But they did find that he sexually abused her, and that was apparently sufficient to hold him for battery
and
uh, and
defamation
and defamation.
Absolutely.
That's right. And I think for a lot of women, it can feel like finally he's being held accountable for something. You know, we always knew he was a creep after the grab him by the pee statement, and we've seen allegation after allegation, and it just feels like finally he's held accountable for something. So a listener popped in to say, you guys should have a little, a little gathering tonight. And so I thought for just a few minutes, what a good idea. I know you saw this one coming, didn't you?
Yes, those of you who listen to me regularly know I've said that he's going to be held accountable on a broad range of issues. This is very important, not only for women, but for men. The idea of accountability for one's actions, and in this case, one of, an abuse, really, of a woman, and it's now part of the record, and that's very important. Now, his attorneys say they're going to appeal. Best of luck on the appeal. That's part of the justice system, too. But I'll tell you what I'm drinking to tonight with you. It's not what's happened to Donald Trump. It's that the justice system is working. Many of our listeners have said it's too slow or they're not going to do anything. Well, let me tell you, Donald Trump has Georgia coming up. He has Merrick Garland coming up. He has this case and the case in New York that have already convicted him. And may I say, it couldn't happen to a more worthy individual. But I listened avidly to all the commentary on the right today. And the excuses, Lindsey Graham's comments, Marco Rubio's comments, basically saying, oh, it's just politics. It isn't just politics. And we must rejoice in the fact that however slowly the wheels of justice turn, in this case, they turned, I believe, in the correct way.
A lot of people were saying today, he's never going to pay her. He's going to do the whole Trump thing he does, which is drag it out. And she's never going to see any money. He'll appeal, he'll stall, he'll whatever. But today, just that the jury came back with that verdict, if she never sees a dime, I think she won.
Of course she did. And the whole point here was not money. The whole point was to lay to rest this kind of abuse of power. And by the way, he wasn't president when this happened. But when a man exerts that kind of pressure, that kind of abuse on a woman, it's a power thing.
Oh,
and
totally.
It needs to be called for what it is. Yeah. Somebody said to me, well, he committed a sexual assault. It's true. And I want to underline the fact it was an assault. It was an assault on a human being.
Yep.
And the defamation, which is continued, is so appalling to me.
Yeah.
So
disgusting.
That's the thing that's critical. Now, here's the question. Will it impact his presidential candidacy?
Well, he will say, it was just a civil trial. I've never been found guilty of any criminal proceeding. I've never been found guilty of assault. I don't have a record of assault or rape or anything like that. And so this is just a civil case. And I think it's it's explained away like that, and I think people will buy that without really looking at what the evidence was and what it means.
They might. And it'll be interesting to see how the Republicans handle this. Now,
Yeah.
tomorrow night at 5 o'clock West Coast time, Donald Trump will appear on CNN. And I am fascinated by the kinds of questions which will be posed to him, how he will answer them, how he will respond. And that's the thing. There has to be an intense scrutiny of Donald Trump. We may never convince his hardcore supporters, but the simple fact is a jury of his peers today convicted him, not in a criminal case, but in a civil case. And that is just as important to me.
I ring the bell of celebration. There you go. Something else today happened, and it's like the news gods just kind of dumped all these great stories on me at once. Apparently, I've learned this evening that the Lying Liars Who Lie Club are all going to get busted round about the same time, because we have this story now as well, that Representative George Santos is being charged by the Justice Department in a federal investigation. So these will be federal charges. We don't know exactly what they are yet, but he's been under investigation. It looks like the charges are filed under seal. The nature of the charges can't be known exactly, but we know the FBI and the Justice Department and public integrity prosecutors, if you knew there was such a thing, in New York and Washington, have been examining allegations of false statements in Santos's campaign finance filings and other claims as well. That from CNN. So it looks like he's busted as well for being a bad guy.
By the time we talk
Allegedly.
tomorrow, either on Mark's show or Nikki's show, by the time we talk, we will know what the charges are.
Yeah.
We only know that he is being charged. These are federal charges. I want to emphasize to people that simply because you're charged does not mean that you are guilty. I
No,
also want to point out that being charged doesn't mean you have to resign from Congress.
I did say allegedly, but I'm still drinking to that as well. My sparkling water.
And the other thing we have tomorrow, according to news reports, particularly on Fox, is the House committee is going to report on the Biden family crime syndicate.
What do you think of this? Is there anything to it?
I have to tell you, we will know more tomorrow. They say the chairman of the committee has said he is going to unveil all of the charges. I think it's going to be a very interesting moment.
Yeah.
And remember, the target here is not Hunter Biden. The target here is Joe Biden. And the idea is that Joe Biden was really responsible for all of this. If that were true, it would be a big blow. But again, all we're going to see tomorrow are charges, and they claim evidence. So it's times like this that make being in this business so interesting. There will be a lot to talk about, and it is in part partisan politics, no question. Just listen to Fox or CNN or MSNBC. But it also has to do with our understanding what's happening politically. Remember, we are in the middle, believe it or not, of a presidential campaign, and that is for 2024. And how the Republicans respond to Santos and Trump, how the Democrats respond to Biden, and yes, the charges which may be leveled by the Republicans tomorrow, all will intrigue us all. I must add, I heard the good news today that Tucker Carlson, I said good news in quotes, is going to begin his own broadcast on Twitter. And all I can say is, I can't wait. You know, my blood pressure, I have low blood pressure. So listening to him may cause the blood to circulate and the vigor to return.
Do you feel like, though, with this Tucker Carlson on Twitter thing, that's not as big of a platform as he had? It's like this platform, it can be big, but it's not as big as what we had on Station X, right? And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
does it bring down his, his footprint of influence?
My answer is yes, because what you call Station X, KGO, was a
Yeah.
magnificent platform for us. Every day I get emails from people saying how sorry they are we are not on
Yeah.
the air. I regret it as well. And even if I were to I do these segments with you or Nikki or Mark,
Mhm.
it's not the same. It doesn't have the same
No.
reach. And we simply have to recognize that.
Yeah.
One of the greatest tragedies for the Bay Area was the loss of a real talk radio station. And I regret that profoundly. Although I'm very lucky, KCBS is using me on occasion. You're
That's good.
using me.
Yeah.
Uh, Mark is using me. Nikki has
Yeah.
used me. But is
Yeah.
it the same? Does it give you the same visibility? The answer is no. I
No.
was down at the bank today, greeted by an old friend who was a regular listener who said, John, didn't you used to be John Rothman? And I think that's the way many of us feel that tremendous loss.
So let's go back to Comer for a moment. This
Chairman of the
is
committee, and he's the one who's going to elect the
Congressman
president.
James Comer, right? Right.
Yes.
He's the one that came out today and said, major announcement. Tomorrow, I'm gonna, drop the bomb on the White House, figuratively. That there's something big to be. Charges will come, and Hunter Biden is, the worst, and whatever. Did it not smack of those moments when Trump came out a day before and said, "Ho ho, wait till you hear what I have to say." And then nothing ever materialized, and it turned out to be maybe, if nothing, not something very minuscule.
Look, I want to be very clear. Those of you who listened to me carefully during the late presidential campaign know that when the whole thing of Hunter Biden's laptop came up, I was one of those who said Hunter Biden most assuredly traded on his father's name, and most assuredly was hired in Ukraine to do certain things because he was Joe Biden's son. I condemned it. I believe it is as wrong as the Trump brand being used in China by Donald Trump's children. There ought to be limits on what presidential families can do by law. But I have to wait and see what the charges are.
Hmm.
If you believe Sean
If any.
Hannity, well, if you believe Sean Hannity, if you believe Laura Ingraham, if you believe
These are
Tucker
not people
Carlson,
these are not people that can be believed because they've actually admitted to lying to the public. How do you believe people that we've seen that behind the scenes they're saying, I don't really believe any of this, and I have big questions about this, and then turn around and spew those lies to the American public? So then now, like a crying wolf situation, how do we believe anything they say?
we'll know tomorrow. We'll
Mm,
know whether Representative Comer's charges, which he claims are backed up with factual data, indisputable data, whether
yeah.
or not that's true. So, what am I going to do tonight? I'm going to be waiting anxiously for the results of his investigation.
Yeah.
I will be interested tomorrow as well to see where we are with Donald Trump, how
Yeah.
Republicans are going to react. I hope that the reaction of Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio are not typical. Asa
Yeah.
Hutchinson, who is also a candidate for president, was very vigorous in his condemnation of Donald Trump. I look, that's the beauty of the business we're in. The idea that we will tomorrow evaluate what happens, what reactions are, how they work, and then we will be able to respond, whether it is on your podcast or Nikki's or
Yeah.
Mark's or what I do tomorrow. I'm going to be with Spencer Christian tomorrow, although I don't know what's going to be broadcast tomorrow. He just, by the way, won a major award,
Yay! So good.
The Edward R. Murrow
Yeah.
Award for what he's doing. It's always a privilege to appear with Spencer, but
Yeah.
I know these are some of the things we will touch on, and you'll have to check with Spencer's website to see when that will be up and running. I don't know how quickly it'll be broadcast.
Well, I'm also looking forward tomorrow, and I will seek out that podcast now that I know he's doing one. But I also look forward tomorrow to seeing exactly what the charges against George Santos will be, and
Absolutely.
whether what the penalty is, as far as what he's lied about, whether it's campaign issues that they've uncovered, or what exactly they caught him for. So we'll
Whatever
find out.
Mark raises tomorrow, thank
Yeah.
heaven you will be by his side.
And
And
you will be on Mark's show a little after 11 a.m.
correct.
We'll talk about all this and so much more when we have more answers to all these questions. And thank you for joining me for this little mini celebration over at least one verdict that seemed to go the right way.
And let us point out a celebration of the fact that justice is prevailing, that it may take time, but in the end, the American system works. It may make mistakes along the way, but I'm a great celebrator of that. Heaven forbid somebody should get away with what Donald Trump has gotten away with. And may I say, Kim, it is a high honor and great personal privilege always to be with you.
Oh, and you too. And I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your night.
I want to tell the children I said hello.
I will do it. All
All
right.
right.
Bye,
See you
John
tomorrow.
Rothman. So that is our little party on the Nikki Maduro show. Thank you for joining, or thank you for watching it in replay. And thank you for being here. We will see you with Nikki again tomorrow from noon to 2. And of course, the Mark Thompson show is from 10 to noon, where you will again see John Rothman with an update on the stories we just talked about. Until then, you know it, maybe a little evening rendition from Jacob.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.